All right, so welcome back. Hoping you're having a fabulous day here today. We got the now new, probably must-have relics in the game because we recently got some very good relics. Like, genuinely, the recent relics are broken. So, I mean, if you want to craft any, you have to be working on that Nidhogg Beast because right now, Skull and Hani and some of the bosses really don't get anything. Janna doesn't count. I'm not counting that just because it's a one-time thing. Hopefully they keep it up, but knowing them is just like a one-time thing to say, like, see, we gave you something. Now don't ask again for another 2 years. So probably that's the case. That's just how I see it. But I do hope that the other bosses get more relics. It's super stupid that they stopped that entire mechanic. Like, there are so many characters that still don't have relics. Like, so many demons, so many humans, so many unknown units. But let's just move on, right? Let's just forget about them. Grey Road got forgotten. We'll forget this too. So here today, like and subscribe helps out a ton. We're gonna be going through the must-craft relics. We're gonna work our way backwards from the Nidhogg backwards because right now we're getting more relics here. And again, we'll work our way back as usual. So just keep that in mind. But first, don't yell at Jazzy. Don't be like he sucks. He's been waiting to craft. Like, he has enough Nidhogg cores. He just doesn't have enough of this. I don't even know how. My boy. That means, like, if you're getting this many and you're not getting this, you have to have terrible luck, right? Because mostly I'm guessing he's like clearly clearing stage 1 and then getting this and then getting that. So he's getting basically 2 a week. I don't know if he buys it from there anymore because I know he buys LR coins now. So 2 a week. That means that he's just not getting any drops on floor 1. What is the percentage? What's it? Let's see. What's the percentage on floor 2? Oh my god. This is why it's hell. I understand. It's a 10% chance. So basically every 10 runs you get one of these, and then I'm guessing it's a much lower chance over here. So it's just hell. Like, through and through, it's just hell. So yeah, mainly the block for a lot of people is just getting this material. But first, what is the best Nidhogg relic? First relic you need to craft is obviously this one, because you want to get more relics, correct? So yes, first thing you're going to go for is crafting the Nidhogg relic specifically. That goes for every single boss. Thonar for Skull and Hani. Deer, you're going to get Yorms if you would like to. It's probably the best relic. Yes, it still helps you. Though people say, like, no, the blockade effect. No, get it. It makes it much easier. And then Bird, get Magilda's relic. Obviously, that still stands till this very day. You want the specific relic for the specific character that's going to farm the specific stage. Thank you. I said specific too many times. But yes, that's going to be Nidhogg over here. Second, now this is going to be a controversial take. Be prepared to write your hate comments. I personally think the second best Nidhogg relic is Freyr's. Calm down. Take a second. Now get mad. Okay, I think that the character is very strong. With his relic, it is busted. For PvP, for unknown team, that is a very good thing and a very good relic. Second, you can now run a different team comp for Hero Arena and use Freyr as a replacement to some character because Freyr really helps. Third, I do think that for a lot of the bosses, if you are having any sort of gimmick held back, whatever, it's going to clear them much faster. So let's say in the future, you need to farm a boss. He's going to help you a lot, right? He's mainly used for this. He's used for all 3. So it's 10 out of 10. He's a PvE carry. It's pretty good. I don't think most teams use him on Nidhogg, but maybe you can make something work. There's a new Ragnarok team floating around. I don't know if he's on that, but I think that is one of the better relics. Now again, calm down. Yes, LR melee exists, and that is a thing that kind of screws my point. This is a very top 10 relic also. Increases the hero's damage dealt by 10% for every orb in the hero's ultimate gauge. Because if you craft this relic also, you're able to farm, Hero Arena very well. This is a huge damage increase on what this character is. So it is also true that it is another top relic. It just depends, correct? If you're running like Demon Team or whatever in PvP and you want to use this, it's going to be better than Freyr's relic, obviously. But let's say you're completing Nidhogg, you got this, and now you go through finish off all the beasts you haven't already finished. You use a different team, like you run unknown team in PvP. It could really help you there. It's a really good relic, but again, there are options beside it that might be better. Being this one also being very strong. Zeldris also isn't that bad. Now that we have Demon King Zeldris, it kind of like the use case of this really falls short because you don't use him as much now, right? Unless you're formulating a different team elsewhere, that's the only thing you can kind of use that for now. But he was good. Now it kind of fell off. These 3, I would say that Melascus is actually very strong also. That is another relic you can kind of aim at later on. But I think if it were to be like an order that you're going to go and follow, you need this one. You need it, simply put, okay? You can then pick between going for Lost Fane or going for this. That's also pretty strong. If you're running Demon Team now and like that's your new focus, this is a really good relic regardless. It's going to help you take care of some teams that are super annoying, that are rushing ultimate. So realize that now, that this will help you a crap ton. Plus it will give you CC, simply put. Goddess Team, this can also help you. It's going to, right? If you still run that, that's the thing that you have to aim for. If you run Goddess Team, this is a Goddess Team buff, correct? It is, so you have to use it. Deanne, this is not a bad relic, but most people aren't using Deanne anymore in PvP, if you will. There is that one Sins team that runs around, but if you are using DN PvP, then that's the next one. Again, that depends. It just depends on what team you're running at that point, right? AMLE is not a bad relic. It's actually a pretty good one. That's also there. But I do think Melasculus is pretty powerful. Plus, like, it's a really good team that's currently being run with Melascula, Tyr, or Melascula, and what is it, Demon King. So I would say that's pretty good. For Aldrin, I mean, you don't really need it. And then Celadris, you don't really need it. These both characters aren't being run. So mainly, again, that's the list I would say for this one. Definitely this first. I would say it's a priority beyond then from if you want Freyr or if you want Lost Vein, that's also there. If you're running Demon team, you run this. If you're running Goddess team, you run this. If you're running Sins team, you run this. That's pretty much it, correct? That's like the way to look at it. It depends, beyond that point, it depends on who you're running at PvP. But yes, if you're running Goddess team, you want that. If you're running Demon team, you want that. Extra CC always helps. And that little passive is actually pretty powerful. So that's there. Now, Skull and Hadi. Yes. So I would say that the way that Jazzy crafted is the way you should craft too. Mainly because first, he went Thonar because he got the free one. 100% you should do that. Second, King is actually a very... No, screw King. Nanashi, one of my favorite relics in the entire game. He made unknown teams super good and super tanky. Plus, running this on other teams also helps. So overall, I would say Thonar is like the must pick, in my opinion. So obviously. Second, if you need help and your Scotty unit is what you're running, actually, Scotty is a very strong unit to actually help you refarm constantly on this. Keep that in mind. Depends though if you want this. It does work a lot and it does kind of help you a crap ton. But again, that's fully depending on what you want to do. It is a powerful relic. That's why it's crafted over here. Do keep that in mind. Beyond that point, I would say that Nanashi is another very powerful relic. I would run that if you can. King, also another very powerful relic that I recommend you can run if you want to. This doesn't help you at all. I was gonna say like maybe for Nidhogg, but it's a Knighthood boss battle relic, so unless you're playing Knighthood boss battle, you don't need it. This is another very powerful relic. Decreases debuffed enemies attack related stats by 10%. This will help your unknown team also if you're running it, or if you're running like debuff team, correct? That's like a big thing people are currently running with Tyr and whatnot. This will help you a bunch being on the bench, because really you can't use a few units here and there. You can still run Ball and whatnot, right? You can still run some other decent bench unit, but if you're running this, which is again really good for that team because you're adding constant debuffs and whatnot. I keep saying whatnot, sub it. But yeah, this also works. So another very powerful relic. Chandler also has a very powerful relic. So again, I would craft that. I think he's saving mats. I don't know for what. Maybe he was trying to craft Zeldris next, but that's there. Cusack, I don't think I really need it. Yeah, I don't think we really need that. Matronas isn't bad also. Giant allies basic stats. This is going to be very helpful for some bosses here and there when it's like a niche thing. Or for some story stages. For example, Matrona was really helpful in the latest ones. So if you want that for just future stuff that can actually help you, this is 10 out of 10. This is 10 out of 10 actually. Worth mentioning that if you're running Ragnarok team, you want to build this. You really do, because this is going to give you the damage cap that kind of is very powerful. But yeah, that is why some teams you see in PvP with Tyr and then Diane. I don't know if it's the best team, but it's definitely a team. So realize that now. This will help you a crap ton. It's going to give you the damage cap, which is pretty powerful. Beyond that, I don't think you really need any other relic per se. This relic isn't bad, but kind of iffy for the unit itself. But yeah, I would say like the best way to do it, again, over here, go for that. Then maybe go for this. If you're running unknown team, it's a very powerful relic. If you want to refarm constantly, go for this. If you're running King to refarm, use King. It's actually another powerful relic. It's going to be really, really helpful. That's there. At that point, I would do this if you would like to. Do this if you're running Ragnarok team and whatnot. This is later on. I would say that's going to be very powerful for like story stages. Chandler is still a very powerful unit, and this is going to help a crap ton. So realize that now. That's mainly the focus for Skull and Hadi. So again, keep that in mind. Deer time. This is very simple. First relic I would craft again is Yorm. Keep that in mind. Second relic I would craft definitely is, again, if you're running full goddess team, you're going to craft accordingly to the goddess units. So for example, right now, go for Sariel over here, Red Tarmiel over here, Margaret also. These are just 3 contenders. They're all good in their own way. I would say that Margaret's like one of the best ones just because it's very helpful. Plus your Mael team kind of needs that. Plus if you're running Nidhogg, kind of need that. Margaret does work on Nidhogg. Kind of, for like first floor, second floor, some stuff like that. So that's there. Beyond that, there's another Liz relic. I don't know where that is. Which Liz is it? Is it this Liz over here? Yeah, so you want this relic. I don't know. Jet doesn't have it. But it increases the allies' HP related stats by 15%. It's a very, very powerful relic. Kind of want this for a lot of boss farming in some of their stages, because it's a 15% increase on top of the allies heal at 10% every single turn. It's going to be a very powerful relic, right? So this is something you really want to invest into. I would 100% recommend it because this is a big bench unit everywhere. Everyone kind of uses this for random content just to get more HP and some more heals at the start of the turn, so realize that now. And again, if you're running this as some sort of team for Nidhogg or whatnot, originally this was the thing, I think. That also works, so do keep that in mind, but that's a very powerful unit. Sariel also, Goddess team at this point, you're going to build all of these mainly after a little bit, but mainly just go down the order of picking up like Yorms, and then consider like, am I running Goddess team? I can run Margaret's over here. If I want for some like final boss passive, stuff like that, this can really work. Again, Sariel, again, just full Goddess team should get built. Ludo, if you're still using that, that also works, but work that way. Fairy team, if you're running that, that also, again, you start there. Goddess Liz has her relic. Again, it's pretty strong on that Mael team, or was. I don't know, Goddess team kind of, I don't use them anymore. And whenever I see a Goddess team, Demon King kind of collapse. That's just my experience. And then Tyr also kind of collapse, but my experience, it depends if you're running that. But again, that's basically the deer. It's very simple. Bird, obviously, as I just mentioned, Magilda first. That's like the best way to do it. So Magilda is what you want to do. Definitely, I do think that Festival Gother is like one of the best units. For the bird, beyond that, I won't even look at the other options, right? I think Festival Gother is just one to be reckoned with. He's like one of the best characters because farming with him on the bird is my favorite thing. Like literally one of my favorite things, right? It's just pure mayhem, what he calls it. That tier team that I kind of made a little bit ago, that is like one of my favorite teams. It is like just, it is deadly, really freaking deadly. So I would recommend to build kind of Magilda and then this. The support that he'll give you in rushing the bird and farming the bird, like you can make some really fast speed farm teams with that relic, so do keep that in mind, right? Beyond that, the Red Arthur one is also pretty strong. Keep this also in the back of your head. It also kind of helps over here for this new Green Arthur. So again, that's also a pretty strong one. This one isn't bad either. It's also a pretty powerful relic, so do keep that in mind. But I think for the bird, this one here, because Ragnarok Bond is like a bench unit, you kind of want to run that. That's why it's kind of crafted for Jazzy. Perk Bond has fallen off. I don't really think you need that per se. There's some at the bottom here I want to mention. Where is it? Yeah, Guild Thunders is pretty good. It was originally crafted for that Naofumi team. That's there. Kind of a good one. Oh, this is good too. I don't know why he doesn't have it crafted. Twiggo's a very strong relic. So do keep that in mind. It's like kind of a very powerful one. You want to craft it. Jenna is pretty good now. So if you want to craft Jenna's too, I mean, everyone's going to craft it at a point, right? You're kind of farming it. Human allies getting 12% of a buff. That's going to help your LR Escanor team or crap ton too. Let's say you're running LR Escanor plus Bond. Again, what are you going to do? Bond can't have a bench unit. That's himself. So this is the new 12% buff for human team. So I would definitely recommend to kind of run that down and use that. Brunhild also has a very powerful relic. Do keep that in mind. Mainly is for that green Brunhild, correct? Increase the hero's attack by 20% when debuffed. I mean, yeah, it works on both, but yeah, I would say that it's a very powerful relic also. If you want to run that Brunhild in PvP, whatnot, that's going to be pretty good. Sigurd's isn't bad. Magilda's very strong. The Valentes, I don't really know. Again, this isn't terrible. I crafted it originally just for the CC. It's not terrible. It's pretty good, actually. Nah, it's okay. Simply put, it's okay, all right? But beyond that, that's mainly it for this entire thing. This is more niche. This is more niche. LR Escanor needs it, so go for it. You're going to need to craft this now, right? Increase attack value equal to 50% of the hero's defense at the start of the battle. That's going to help you, and plus it's CC for LR Escanor. So you're going to need to do it, right? So go ahead and craft that. That's a new must craft, if you will, because you want CC, you want to make the team stronger, plus that extra little stat buff is pretty good, right? Now it's pretty good. Saying that now is pretty good, just because it's going to help you for your team. So realize that now. But yeah, that's mainly the best relics. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Quick little talk about everything, so you have an idea of which one to aim for. But yeah, that's been it. I'll catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, peace, and enjoy. That's been it for me, and take care and have fun farming.